Hello, in this video we're going to be experimenting with colored pencils. Please gather the supplies that are on the screen. I'm quickly making small squares of color to see how each medium carries the pencil. First, I am using an alcohol white. It was hard to control and the color didn't travel very far. Next, I tried rubbing alcohol. The color traveled very far in this experiment. If you're going to be using rubbing alcohol, please know that alcohol has a strong odor. Please make sure that you are in a well-ventilated room and wear a mask using rubbing alcohol. Then I tried baby oil. The color didn't travel far, but it did even out the colored pencil. Last, I tried the Colorless blender pencil. The color didn't travel very far at all, but it did make the color more vibrant. In my first rectangle, I am making a one-color gradient. I am making sure to use the correct colored pencil technique. Once my gradient is done, I'm going to put a drip of rubbing alcohol on my cotton swab. I'm starting at the top of my rectangle and working side to side all the way to the bottom. I'm going to repeat this step a few more times. Next, I'm going to get a clean cotton swab with rubbing alcohol. I'm going to start at the bottom of my rectangle and work my way all the way to the top. I'm going to repeat this step until I get a good gradient. You can always go back and add more layers of colored pencil when the rubbing alcohol dries. Remember to use a scrap piece of paper to protect your paper from accidental smudges. Next, I'm making a two-color gradient. I'm using the technique that we learned in the colored pencil technique video. I'm taking my cotton swab with rubbing alcohol and rubbing from side to side, top to bottom. I'll repeat this step 2 to 3 times. Next, I'm taking a clean cotton swab with rubbing alcohol and going from side to side, bottom to top. You can flip your paper if it's easier for you. I'll repeat this step 2 to 3 times. The two colors in the middle will blend together to make a smooth gradient. Remember, you can always go back over your gradient with colored pencil. Next, I'm going to use a colorless blender pencil. I'll be using the same steps as the previous technique, but I won't be using any cotton swabs. As you can see, the blender pencil makes the colors more vibrant. Next, I am trying baby oil. I'll be using the same steps as the rubbing alcohol technique. As I'm doing this technique, I'm making sure I'm going from side to side, from top to bottom. Baby oil will dry down, but it will bleed through the paper. It was hard to get the color to move around with this technique. Last, I'm using an alcohol wipe that is wrapped around a cotton swab. I'm going to be using the same steps as the rubbing alcohol technique. This technique was hard for me to control where the color went. Which of these techniques was your favorite? Mine was the rubbing alcohol technique.